Chapman says the #1 thing he hears from couples on the brink is that the spark is gone and they feel like roommates. A few days ago, we took a poll on Facebook and Oprah.com asking, how many of you feel more like roommates than a married couple? Oh, Lord. It was so sad, pitiful. Here are the results. 60% feel like they are living as roommates. Christine and her husband, Brad, are here, and they've been together 10 years and say they feel like roommates. Yeah.
Yeah. We do. We feel like, I feel like that the spark is gone. I feel like it wasn't what it was like in the beginning. To the outside world, this perfect relationship, and you know, we drive nice cars and we do nice vacations, but in our four walls, we're like, you know, that 15 minutes pass and go, and we only communicate when it's about the children. And I feel like he has a hard time communicating to me, sharing his feelings. So then he can't do that, so then I get angry. And then he clams up and I get even angrier.
Okay, let's see your love languages. What are your love languages? Quality time, words of affirmation. All right, go at it.
Well, you know, one of the things I think you're experiencing, first of all, is a very common thing. When we come down off the high of the in-love experience, which didn't take any effort at all, and if we don't know each other's love language, what happens is the love tank gets empty, neither of us really feel loved, the differences get bigger, we end up arguing with each other and without resolving anything, and after a while we're asking, why did we get married? We don't even like each other, you know? And I identify with that because in the early years of my marriage, my wife and I went through that same sort of scenario because we had no concept of the love languages in those days.
Tell me about the love tank. You talk a lot about it in 5
I just use the
languages.
love tank as a picture, you know, the gasoline tank in the car. If it's empty, the car's not going to move. And the same thing is true. And I like to picture inside of us, there's an emotional love tank. If the tank is full, that is, we genuinely feel loved, then life is beautiful. If the love tank is empty and we don't feel loved, life begins to look pretty dark and the differences get bigger. So I think, you know, the key in terms of how this particular insight could help, if you understand that her language is words of affirmation, then you're going to look for things that you do see positive in her and you're going to verbalize that to her. That's going to make her feel a lot better because she's hearing some positive things coming from you. And what I hear him saying, his language is quality time, that means he wants to talk with you, he wants to be with you, but not always discussing the problems and the conflicts. Can't we just sit down and have a good conversation about, you know, something that's positive in life? And the more you can give him undivided attention, the more he's going to feel loved by you. When both of you feel loved, if the love tank is full, it's much easier to solve the conflicts that exist between the two of you. Every couple has conflicts. Some learn to resolve them and some don't.
How long have you all been married?
10 years.
So I think what you said and what you say in 5 love languages, which have been on the bestsellers list for 283 weeks, is that you have to know, because people get married and they have this sort of fantasy, and also, as you said, you don't have to work at it for those first couple of years. If you're lucky, you're just, you want me to take out the trash? Anything you want, I'll do it, yes. And then that starts to dissipate. And people think when the euphoria is gone, that means that we've lost it. Yes.
Or we made a mistake. We shouldn't have gotten married.
Yeah.
And I identify with that because, as I said, I felt that in the early years of my marriage when I came down off the high. But if we can understand going in that there are 2 stages to romantic love. There's the in-love experience, and then there's
the one... Which is euphoric.
Euphoric. Then there's the one that's
yes.
far more intentional.
Yes.
And we have to learn how to communicate love. But the need is still there, and the ability is still there if we get the information on what makes them feel loved.
I thought that was so key because I know so many people think when they go into what they call the roommate stage, or we're not communicating, or he used to do, or we used to go to these places and you used to be so, that they think that means you've lost it. And you're saying you haven't lost it, you're just making a transition into the next phase.